Best Bets podcast and Best Bets live stream. That is Goodman over there. Are you requesting help from Siri? Is that what you're asking for? Is that what I just heard?
No, I don't think so. No, you did not. You did not. You're hearing shit. You're hearing shit again.
That happens. That tends to happen. So it is a Saturday.
It is a Saturday.
There weren't a lot of games that happened last night, although we did crush it on the Atlantic 10. Betting the Atlantic 10 favorites.
10, baby.
Profitable. Profitable. Yeah. So we're just going to jump straight into breaking down tonight's games. But first, we have to talk a little bit about Arizona finally released their notice of allegations. They took it to court. They were sued by ESPN and I believe a couple other outlets. ESPN and the other outlets won the lawsuit that required them to for like FOIA because they're a state university, whatever. That people don't care about that. But they released their notice of allegations at 9:11 p.m. Eastern time on Friday night, which is just the greatest Friday news dump possibly of all time.
Well, they did it. Here's why they did it. They did it because ESPN was going to publish it last night. So they got ahead of ESPN putting it out there. And I don't know how much we've talked about this on this stream, but I was there at ESPN when that whole thing went down. I was there that day when the story involving Sean Miller and DeAndre Ayton and Christian Dawkins blew up. And, there's still no proof that conversation ever happened. And I'm looking through the notes.
Explain what you're referring to, because I don't know if
there's a conversation where Sean Miller paid Christian Dawkins. There was $100,000 that they were talking about a payment involving paying Christian Dawkins, for DeAndre Ayton, and ultimately. That's what blew all the Arizona stuff up, because without that, it's not a whole lot different than USC, right? With Tony Bland and Andy Enfield, right? I mean, Book Richardson took more money bribery wise, but really it's not that different than that, or Auburn with Chuck Person and some of the other guys, Lamont Evans. But ultimately, that story is what absolutely blew up Sean Miller in Arizona. And I'm not defending Sean Miller and saying like he was completely clean in all this, because there's some stuff in the notice of allegations that frankly hadn't gotten much attention, involving academic fraud and dishonesty, involving former assistant coach Mark Phelps, with regards to Sharif O'Neal, and with Book Richardson, obviously the bribery, and also you've got the academic fraud involving Riley Alkins. So but of the 5 level 1 violations, there are 5 level 1 violations that Arizona has been accused of. Again, Phelps, Book with the academic fraud is one. Phelps giving a $500 loan, or $500. I won't even say loan, whatever. $500 to, I think it was Keanu Pinder, to visit somebody for a plane ticket. That's one. Number 2 of the level 1 allegations. Number 3, I think was Phelps asking a player who was going to Adidas Nations to help recruit a couple players that were there. Okay, like, come on, what the F are we doing here? That shit goes on everywhere. That's stupid. Like, take that one off the books. That is just absolutely stupid. Then the big one, with regards to Sean, and the only one regarding Sean Miller, was that he didn't provide the atmosphere of compliance, and it's kind of coach's control. So that's the one that Sean Miller got hit with. I think a lot of people thought when you read it, and myself included, that it would be a lot worse for Sean Miller. DeAndre Ayton's name was never involved, not in this 22-page notice of allegations. So, like, there's nothing, there was no proof. And I still say, Rob, like, I don't think ESPN got it right when I was there. I do not think they got that story right, period.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway that I had from the notice of allegations was that, given everything that had transpired in the last, 3.5 years, and all of the rumors and all of the innuendo and all the stories that came out about it, like, Sean Miller came out looking pretty good, all things considered. Now, the level 1 violation is not going to be a good thing. And honestly, that is something that could, if Arizona decided they wanted to, that's something that is fireable. They basically said, like, you don't promote an atmosphere of compliance, which is probably true given everything we know about like that staff and things that kind of happen under his watch. And it's fair, he's got to, there's a reason why that rule is in place. It's so you can't just dump all the stuff off on your assistants anymore. Like, head coaches are in charge. They got to pay the price if people in their program fuck up. But all things considered, like, that wasn't that bad. That was not that bad for Sean Miller. And today, I feel.
What do you think he'll get? What do you think he'll get for a punishment? Because again, when you thought about it before, and it's like, 5 level 1 violations, it looks really bad. Only one is really, hands-on with Sean Miller, and it's coach's control for the most part. Obviously, Arizona can get hit here because you've got the combination of Book, and the bribery, which was huge, and the perception that you got to hit him, and then you got the academic stuff. So what do you think Sean Miller gets hit with at the end of the day? Do you think he gets a show cause or not?
That's tough. If you would have asked me this before, like the South Carolina ruling came out and the Alabama ruling came out and the Georgia Tech appeal was overturned, I would have said, yeah, probably, because look at what happened to Oklahoma State and they were trying to hammer him. But now it kind of feels like it's gone away from that. Oklahoma State, it looks like they're probably going to play in the NCAA tournament. So my guess
doesn't mean they're not going to get the
No, I know. So I just don't think I just don't think. Yes, I agree. But if they were really trying to make a statement, then they would have come out and ruled on that appeal by now.
The statement is this: we want Cade Cunningham in the NCAA tournament. That's the statement.
Yes, that's so. Regardless, I think that he'll probably, I don't know if he'll get a show cause. I'm guessing he'll probably be suspended for a certain amount of games next season. If he's still coaching at Arizona, based off of what was in that notice of allegations, I kind of think that he probably will still be coaching at Arizona. If you were going to make a move on him and they've had that, then they probably would have made a move on him by now. The funniest part, so this was from Bruce Pascoe's reporting for Tucson.com. The funniest part to me was that Sean Miller apparently gets he has to pay, or he loses $1 million of his retention bonus if he gets found guilty of a level 1 violation. But since he's already owed less than $1 million on his retention bonus, like if he gets found guilty of that violation, he's going to have to pay a whole bunch of that money back, and it's going to be coming out of his bank account, coming out of his pocket. So, that's like he's got a lot of money right now.
He's playing with house money compared to what he thought he was going to be playing with. Because 3 years ago, when that story came out, many people, myself included, thought he was done 3 years ago, and there was no way he was going to survive. Now, the Arizona money people, and I know a few of them, they're sticking by Sean Miller right now. And I think even more so after reading this notice of allegations, they'll be sticking by Sean Miller. So Arizona's got a decision to make. We talked about that. But I just felt like, honestly, the notice of allegations was not nearly as hard-hitting to Sean Miller as anybody thought it would be. And, again, DeAndre Ayton's name, nowhere to be found in the notice of allegations. Nowhere to be found.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about today's slate. Where do you want to open up? I think we should probably start with Oklahoma State at West Virginia, because we just had some news come in about that. So Cade Cunningham is not going to play. Isaac Likely is not going to play. Oklahoma State is going to be playing their 4th game in 8 days. They had their Super Bowl, which was back-to-back wins over Oklahoma. Then they went out against Baylor on the road, and that was on Thursday night. They lost that game. It was close. It was closer than the final score would make you believe, but they lost that game. Now they have to travel to West Virginia to take on the Mountaineers. 4th game in 8 days. They're not going to have their 2 best players. That line, I locked it in at 7.5. I probably bet too heavy on it. But I mean, it's probably
got it at 8. It's already moving up. I mean, it's already moving up at this point. Yeah, I still kind of like it, but again, at this point of the season, you never know how teams are going to come out. I would think Hugs is still going to have them ramped up and ready to go because West Virginia is still playing for, they're not playing for a league title, but they're playing for the number 2 seed. They're playing for an overall number 2 seed potentially in the NCAA.
I don't think a number 1 seed is out of the question for them. If they go out and they
come on,
listen,
You're
listen,
crazy.
No, if they go out and they beat Oklahoma State today and then they win the Big 12 tournament, Illinois loses to Ohio State, and then Illinois, Ohio State, and Iowa all lose early in the Big 10 tournament. Like West Virginia could climb their way into a number 1 seed depending on who they beat en route to the Big 12 tournament. Yes, they absolutely can. I know you're shaking your head and you don't think so, but it's still a possibility. So like there's an incentive for them to keep playing. Now,
there's still a possibility.
How about this? The line right now at Bet Rivers is all the way up to 10. So if you're going to lock that in, you better get it in. You better get it in soon. At this point, you might be better off just looking at the under and taking the under in that spot, because if there's one thing Oklahoma State can do is they can throw on this matchup zone and create some problems for West Virginia. But yeah, I mean that one's pretty easy. We don't really need to spend too much time. Discussing that. All right. Next up, we have Illinois playing at Ohio State. That line is now, I believe it's 2.5 at Bet Rivers. When I first saw it this morning, Illinois was getting 2. Where do you feel? Where do you stand on this? How do you feel about it?
I mean, I think I like Illinois because I'm not sure that Iowa's going to play, but I feel like he's probably going to play. I mean, he's cleared protocol. He almost played last game, so I haven't gotten official word. But yeah, I think he's going to play. And the only thing is Ohio State's lost the last 3 in a row now.
Yep,
3 in a row. Kind of need this one. I mean, like, I don't know if like they need it, but like you don't want to go into the Big Ten tournament losing 4 in a row. A team that was in the mix for a number 1 seed 2 weeks ago. I don't love it. I got to say, I don't love this game. I
really, really like Ohio State in this spot, and I'm going to explain why. Even though I do think that Iowa's going to play. I don't want to say expect, because if I say I expect him to play, it means I have info that I can't like burn a source on, and I don't have info that says that. But I do think that he is going to end up playing today, and for me, this is why I like him. The reason why that Illinois defense was so effective against Michigan. What they did was they played heavy drop coverage, which basically means they have whoever's guarding the in ball screens, whoever's guarding the 5 that sets the screen basically stands below the foul line in the paint. The guy guarding the ball handler goes over the ball screen, and they basically dare the point guard to go make a play against the 7-foot center with a guy on his hip while the big man rolls to the rim. The reason that was so effective against Michigan is because Mike Smith and Eli Brooks are not great playmakers off the bounce, and because Hunter Dickinson is not a threat from beyond like outside the charge circle. You can't do that against Ohio State, and it's not because CJ Walker is this great dynamic playmaking point guard. It's because EJ Liddell is a monster, right? The last time that these two teams played, he had 26 points. He hit 4 threes. He's averaging 16 points on the season and shoots 35% from 3. We've all season long said that the teams that you want to target against Illinois, the teams you want to back against Illinois, are the teams that can put them into ball screens and take advantage of the fact that Kofi Cockburn is not great guarding on the perimeter. This is that matchup. We saw Ohio State kick Illinois' ass the first time that they played. I think that this is a great buy low spot on Ohio State and sell high spot on Illinois. So I will be on the Buckeyes here. I will be it might be my favorite bet of the day, although there are a couple of lines that I really, really like elsewhere today as well.
Yeah, you know what? The more I think about it, the more I'm kind of with you on that. I don't love it, so I'm gonna stay away from that. All right, we got to get to Duke, Carolina.
Yep.
I mean, we got to get there. Listen, it's not a typical Duke Carolina game, especially to end the regular season. These are usually really important games in a different sense of the word. But this game
I was going to say this is a really important game.
It's actually more important than it usually is in some regard, because if you're Carolina, right, you're like a 10 seed right now. You're like a 10 seed. You're in. But if you win this game, right, if you win this game today in Chapel Hill, you could effectively knock Duke out of the NCAA tournament. I mean, they have one more chance in the ACC tourney, but like you could lay claim if you're Carolina, we knocked their asses out of the NCAA tournament today, potentially. Like, if you're Carolina, how nice would that be?
Yeah, it'd be huge. It'd be huge. I mean, that's not only are you beating your rival, but you're making sure that your arch rival, the Duke Blue Devils, don't get to go to the NCAA tournament. Now, I don't think that that's going to end up happening. I actually really, really like Duke in the spot. And it goes beyond just the simple fact that like Jalen Johnson's not there, and we've seen how much better Duke is, at least before these last two games without him. The first time that these two teams played, Duke got 7 points from Matthew Hurt, a season low. They got 4. Caleb Love was 4 for 5 from 3. He shoots 23% from 3 on the season. North Carolina was 10 for 15 from 3. As a team, they shoot 30% from 3 on the season. And they only won by 4, right? Plus, without Jalen Johnson, it means that Mark Williams is now getting more minutes for Duke. And Mark Williams is not – he's not like been this revelation where it's like, oh, this is the second coming of Elton Brand or anything like that. But he's been an effective big guy. And the biggest place where we're going to see a mismatch in this game is in the front court, where North Carolina has like 17 guys that can go get offensive rebounds and punish you on the glass and score in the paint. And having that presence of Mark Williams in there makes it just that much more difficult. So I really, really like Duke in this spot. I will be on the money line. I'm just thinking in my head, like Matthew Hurt, probably the ACC player of the year, being guarded on the perimeter by who? Armando Bacot, Garrison Brooks, Day'Ron Sharp. I really like that matchup. And if you could give me the over for Matthew Hurt points, I would take the over for Matthew Hurt points too.
All right.
Did I talk you into it?
Yeah, I think so. Just because, you know what? I got to have something on this game, don't I? I mean, it's Duke Carolina, 6 o'clock tonight. You got to have something on this game. So, yeah, I'll probably take the money line, to be honest. I think that's where the value lies with this game.
Agreed.
And a lot of times, listen, I don't know what it is. I don't have it in front of me. But I feel like the road team wins this game way more than we realize. So, all right, we got that one. Give me your other lock pick. Forget about we're not going to go down every big game today. There's too many games for a Saturday. But let's go with what we like at this point. Give me
here's my favorite bet of the day. It's pretty simple. So Archie Miller has been at Indiana. This is his 4th season. This will be the 7th game that he's played against Purdue and Matt Painter. He's 0-6. He's lost those 6 games by an average of 9.3 points, right? Yep. He's playing on the road with a team that has lost 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6. They are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. Purdue is streaking. They've won 10 of their last 13. They've won 4 in a row. They've covered in their last 4 games. That freshman class that they have is looking better and better and better and better. How can you be on anything other than Purdue in this spot? How can you not love Matt Painter against Archie Miller? And look, it goes beyond just the simple looking at the numbers and looking at the trends and because I feel like you can only glean so much information out of that. What Purdue does defensively is they have a whole bunch of big guys inside. They play that gapping style of defense, and they kind of dare you to beat them over the top. They're going to say, we're not going to let Trace Jackson Davis beat us. We're going to make you beat us with threes. And the biggest issue that Indiana has had this entire season is that they are a school in the state of Indiana, and they don't have any shooters. Purdue. Purdue,
you're
baby.
right. And,
Purdue.
And I just like
fighting
Purdue.
Robbie Hummels, fighting Rayfeld Davises. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Baby.
I like Purdue there. I'm going to go with one kind of like you did against Indiana here. I'm going to go with a dead team to me, which is Minnesota, and go against them. Rutgers at Minnesota. Normally, Minnesota is a lock at home. They've lost their last 2 at home, including 1 to Northwestern. Richard Pitino is on his way out here. Rutgers given 3.5. I like the Scarlet Knights here.
So there were 2 lines that didn't really make any sense to me today. When I opened it up and I was looking at it at first. The first one was Rutgers laying 3.5. Like why? That's one of those ones where you're just that's got to be a trap. But somebody knows something that we don't know, right? Why is it only -3 here?
Yep.
And the other one was Florida State laying 6.5. Does that
Yeah,
make
that's
sense to
kind of
you?
small. Yeah,
Right?
why is it so small? Yeah, kind of small. You're right. Hmm. I don't
So
know.
those are the two ones where I just kind of looked at it and I was like, that doesn't. How does that make sense? Why is that line what it is? And it's actually come down. It's now -6.
I know.
It's now
Strange.
-6.
Very strange. Maybe
And
they
I should have said this, but they're at Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a head coach that is. There's been a lot of scuttle about whether or not he's going to be there next season.
yeah. Yeah.
So
What else you like? What else you like today?
I like Florida State -6, and I like Rutgers -3.5. But again, I don't love them because I don't know, it feels a little uncomfortable. I like Virginia -2 against Louisville with no Malik Williams.
Yeah,
That
I'm
pack
counting.
line that pack line defense. Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to take away David Johnson and Carlik Jones. Like what the pack, they're not going to let him come off those ball screens. They're not going to give him any space in the paint. And Louisville does not have enough shooters on the perimeter or a lob target off of those ball screens to really allow Carlik and David Johnson the space to be effective. So I think that they're going to be swallowed up. And if those two are swallowed up, like what's Louisville got? I don't love Virginia by any stretch of the imagination. But the fact that you have all of these great shooters for Virginia around the perimeter, all these big guys that are really effective, and Kihei's probably going to be going up against Carlik Jones, and I don't think Carlik's the kind of guy that can completely swallow him up defensively. So I think there's going to be a chance for Kihei to get in the lane, be able to find shooters, make plays. So I really like Virginia -2 in this spot. And the other one that I had written down, first and foremost, Belmont laying 6.5. We hit with Jacksonville State yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But I think that with Moose back and looking like he's almost back to 100%.
Give me your St. Louis St. Bonnie pick.
Bonnies.
Huge game.
I like the Bonnies.
I don't know who I like, but man, I can't wait to watch that game. 6 o'clock, honestly, might be the best window with Duke Carolina and St. Louis St. Bonnie's. Like that's going to be a good window today.
It is two really good games. But I like the reason why I like the Bonnies.
Yeah,
your boy Mark Schmidt.
Yeah, he's good, man. He can
boy Mark Schmidt.
Really,
he's good. I don't understand. So you're much more in tune with this than I am, but I do not understand for the life of me how a bigger school has not scooped him up yet.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's done such a great job at a really difficult job at St. Bonnie's. I think, again, part of it is you're at St. Bonnie's. They haven't. I don't know. Have they won? Did they win one tournament game? I don't know if he's won a tournament game.
He might not have, but he's also like there's always roster turnover there, right? And there's always player development, and you always say like, I don't know how St. Bonnie's is gonna get this done, and they end up getting it done. And to me,
over and over with different groups
on the coach. Yes, with different groups, different teams, different styles of play, different everything. So I know he's a BC alum, right?
Yeah, I just don't know what they're going to do at BC yet, what Patrick Kraft's going to do. But you're right. I mean, Mark Schmidt should be high atop or one of the final 2 or 3 candidates for Boston College. Period.
I mean, if you're BC or you're Penn State and you're not heavily considering Mark Schmidt, I don't know what you're doing. honestly.
Thanks, SD.
Because to me, like
UCLA in the first 4 in 2018. That's right.
Yeah. So to me, tell me if you think this is crazy. St. Bonaventure's, like that job, their status in the Atlantic 10 is pretty much on par with like what Penn State is in the Big Ten or what BC is in the ACC. Now, look, it's a different beast. I completely acknowledge that. When you're in the ACC, you're going up against Duke and Carolina and Louisville and Syracuse and all of these juggernaut programs. But he's proven that he can have a lot of success at a job that's not the best job in the league. You know, it's.
Would you like to know where? Would you like to know where St. Bonaventure ranked when I did the rankings?
Yeah. Where?
I'm still searching. 11th out of 14. Only ahead of Duquesne, which actually Duquesne's much better now than it was 2 years ago because they're buying games left and right. I had a Fordham, Duquesne, and LaSalle. How about that? So you're right. Like 11th out of 14 teams. Like, come on, man. Now, Here's what I will say. Here's what I will say in regards to Mark Schmidt. Somebody said this to me yesterday, and it's true. If you are BC, you might roll the dice on a younger guy. You're not close to winning. You're not close to getting into the ACC tournament, right? You're not. I mean, to getting into the NCAA tournament from the ACC. If you're Penn State, you're close. And if you have a guy that can really coach his ass off, which Mark Schmidt can do, and develop players, could Mark Schmidt take Penn State from here to in the end, better than Indiana, beating some of those kind of mid-tier teams, the programs that are better, but ultimately he can coach his ass off. I'd look at Mark Schmidt if I was Sandy Barber at Penn State.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, but
right.
He's a very, very good coach. All right, let's move on. You like Belmont with me too, laying 6.5?
I'm not State. You know who I like? I like the two favorites in the America East. Yesterday I hit it with 4 favorites in the A10. Today I'm going with UMBC, 6-point favorite, and they're both on their home court. And Vermont, 9-point favorite over Hartford. So UMBC 6 over UMass Lowell, Vermont 9 over Hartford. Those are two I like. And trying to think of what else I like with some of these tournament games.
Let me ask you this. So right now, the top of the Pac-12 conference looks like this. Oregon's in first place. USC's in second place. UCLA's in third place.
And they're all tight.
Yeah, USC and UCLA are playing each other today. It's in Pauley Pavilion. USC is laying 2.5 points. You got any feel on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I just think USC is the better team. I just feel like Mobley is something that, and they've got like veterans. They've got a lot of transfers on that USC team. I don't know. I feel like, I would go USC in this, and I don't generally take USC, and I feel like I'm going to take them, and they're going to lose here. But I would go USC in this spot.
Yeah, I think I agree. Taj Edey's emergence.
Drew Peterson's been good.
Yeah, Drew Peterson's been good too. I like USC there. I don't love it. It's not one of my favorite lines. What
about Creighton Butler? What about Creighton giving 12.5? No Aaron Thompson. He's out for the year for Butler. Creighton obviously suspending Greg McDermott for the senior night. This is it. This is their last game, last home game.
I really, really like Creighton here because I feel like this is a little bit of a rally the troops moment. This is like, all right, look, that last game was weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
That last game, it was hard for us to do anything. But this is our chance. Let's come together as a team. Let's go out here and kick somebody's ass. Like we don't have to. You don't have the awkwardness of having that coach in the locker room. I think Creighton comes out here like they might win this game by 25. Honestly, like I really really like Creighton in this spot. And there's this is not any analysis beyond like some like
just kind of like figure out.
It's armchair psychologist stuff.
Big game, Rob. Big game. Iowa State at Kansas State today. You know why it's big?
Well, both these coaches might get fired.
Yeah, that's why it's big. That's why it's big. Steve Prohm can win a conference game. Can he get one?
No.
Well, Robbie Hubbell's giving us a good update on Kansas State. He kind of likes him.
I do. I agree with him. I think Robbie's right. Did he say that?
He does. He thinks they're pretty good. He thinks they're good.
I mean, they have a young team that's starting to come together. If you look at what they've done recently, I don't know where it is. Like I'm trying to find their profile on KenPom, but it's so far. Like, you know what's crazy about this matchup? Here's what this is one of the wildest things that I've seen in a while. Right. So Iowa State is going to go winless in their league. They're 2-20 overall, but on KenPom right now, they're not the worst team. Like according to KenPom, Kansas State is actually the worst team in the Big 12. And Iowa State is 0-17. It's because Iowa State was really competitive for a while, but they've kind of fallen off a little bit. But I like Kansas State in the spot. You know, I like
Kentucky today, Rob. I like Kentucky giving 7.5 at home against South Carolina.
South Carolina feels like they've packed it in a little bit. But
I think McDermott will coach in the Big East tournament. I do.
My favorite bets of the day, the ones that I'm gonna really be in on are West Virginia, I got them at 7.5. I went too heavy on it probably, but what are you going to do? I took Illinois. No, I'm sorry, Ohio State -2.5.
Yep.
Purdue laying 6.5. All of these lines are courtesy of our partners over at Bet Rivers, by the way. I took the Duke money line +120. Those are the ones that I'm heavy on. I have a little sprinkle of Virginia -2. I took Rutgers -3.5. I took the Bonnies money line. And I'm going to be on Belmont -6.5 as well. The last two that I'm looking,
it's a lot for you today. You're excited.
I feel like I have a good feel on this slate, which probably means I'm going to get absolutely dusted because every time I feel like I have a good feel, I just get dusted. But that's what I have right now.
All right, I like West Virginia. I like your Purdue pick. I'm in on that. I'm not going anywhere near Illinois, Ohio State. I like USC. I like Duke in the money line. I like Rutgers, Kentucky. What else do I kind of like? UMBC, Vermont. Those are the main ones. Those are the main ones.
And look, I know it's kind of hard to follow us when we just kind of do this and just say list out the games we like, but if you go, there's an app called BetSperts, BETSPERTS. Go follow us on BetSperts. Every pick that I make, I put in there. Every bet that I make, I log into BetSperts. So it's much easier just to go there, see what I have, see how much action I have on each one of those lines, and use that for the information that you need. Because, like I said, it's just we're going to start adding some graphics at some point. It's probably not going to be this season. So
where's that?
Eventually.
Where was that? Somebody asked.
What?
Oh, adding graphics for our picks.
Yeah, for our pick. Once we get a producer, then yes, we can. But right now, when I'm producing this stuff by myself, while I'm also trying to log picks and keep Goodman's ass in line, not possible. No. You guys have no idea how hard it is to manage this guy.
Yeah, well, listen, I get it. I get it. I understand it. And we got 30 days. 30 days till the national title game, Robert Dauster. So 30 more days of these pods and these live streams. And it's been fun. And hopefully we're going to make some money here in the next 30 days.
Yeah. I'm going to make it all back. Don't worry. I got it covered. Don't let me get high, baby. Do not let me get